Hello YouTube, it's Pedestrian Gaming Scotland here and welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are well and gaming lots. So in today's video I'll be giving you my reactions of Sony's most recent state of play. We'll be going through all the games, I'll give you my thoughts on each of them. But before we get into the actual video itself, let me know your thoughts below. Did you enjoy the state of play or did you think it was pretty rubbish? With that being said, let's jump into my thought of Sony's most recent state of play in August 2020. So first up then we had Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. Now previously they did release quite good gameplay showing different parts of the different levels with all the masks, and each mask has a different ability to slow down time or to do lots of other things in the game. At the state of play we learned that as well as seeing new gameplay, personally which looks really fantastic, and also I'm not really much of a fan of the cartoony art style. I prefer the art style in the Insane trilogy. I prefer that's more the sort of the Crash that I know and love. What we also learned was we are getting to play as Dingodile as a new playable character, which is really interesting. I wonder if he'll be able to control the same as Crash and Coco from the Insane trilogy. We also are getting to play as Cortex from a previous trailer that we saw, which is really interesting. So I think Dingodile is going to have the big rocket launcher, and we can see that in part of the recent gameplay. But we also learned that there's going to be some sort of new difficulty mode. Now previously we did learn that it's going to be split into two, so a retro mode and also like a more modern mode for new fans of the series. Now personally I think Crash Bandicoot is loved by millions of people, and traditionally it was more of a very difficult game. Now I will be trying this game in the retro mode with limited lives and game over screens and really difficult sections of platforming, but with this new modern mode that we saw previously, the lives don't matter. You have an unlimited amount of lives, and I think it's going to be a bit easier potentially. Probably get a bit more power-ups to make it through the different sections of the platforming. But we also got in this new trailer new environments with different graphical elements. So we got a white and black level, and if you hit a different box you get to turn the level into a beautiful rainbow colour. And we also got sort of cyberpunk sort of themed level, which was really interesting. I really am looking forward to this game, and it's releasing 2nd of October 2020. So next up then we had Hitman 3 VR. Personally I'm not a fan of stealth games, but in saying that I do like stealth sections in games. I always try and take the stealth approach when playing different games. In this state of play we said we can play the whole Hitman trilogy in VR coming in January 2021, which is exciting news if you're fans of those games. But personally I'm not a fan of Hitman, I don't really like it. But anyway, next up we saw Braid. Now originally this game was released in 2008 and it's getting remastered and getting brought back for 2021. But what I find an interesting concept is every time you move in the world moves. So for example they showed the character moving to the right, time goes forward, and if the character moves to the left, time goes backwards, which I thought was a really interesting and new game mechanic which I've personally not seen before. So next up we had the Pathless. So immediately this game looked like Breath of the Wild with an RPG twist. Like the art style of this game, it looks as though you can fly around the map with an owl, which will be quite good as traditionally walking around the map takes forever. That'll be interesting to see how that works. And we'll also be able to shoot a bow and arrow, which is cool. I always like bow and arrows in games as they are normally very overpowered and almost add to a sort of stealth playstyle in games, which is really fun. And they also showed what looks like a boss fight that looks really intriguing. This is coming holiday 2020, so this sounds like it'll be a launch title for the PS5. So next up we had the 2D platformer Splunky II. I do like the art style of these retro style sort of platformers, and it looks like you have the option to build a wee community, which seems like a really good idea obviously during the current climate. Good to play with other people online, and that's releasing September 15, 2020, so we don't really have long to wait, just over a month, which is exciting. So next up then we had Aeon Must Die, which looks like an RPG in my opinion. Now I've recently seen reports online that this game has been cancelled as the devs have left as they weren't getting paid. Another company has stole the actual IP and idea of this game, which is really disappointing, really horrible to see. Hopefully we can stamp this out of the gaming community. Sorry, that I didn't mean for that to rhyme there, but it just sort of fell off my tongue. So yeah, Aeon Must Die. Hopefully we can see more of this game, or hopefully this situation can be sorted properly. But yeah, it's really sad to see when that happens. That's awful. So next up then we have Anno Mutation Aim. So it's a Japanese 2D side scroller, looks very fast paced, and this game reminds me very much of Nier Automata or Automata, depending on how you say that, and that's releasing December 2020. So obviously we've got the most exciting game. Everyone's talking about Bugsnax. This game has a really fun and interesting theme tune. Bugsnax, doo doo doo, Bugsnax. I love that soundtrack. Shame about the gameplay though. So this looks like story gameplay of being a news reporter in the world, trying not to get sacked and keep your job by finding and collecting bugs through talking to local NPCs and going on treasure hunt to find the different bugs, and there probably will be some sort of mini games involved with this game, but this game looks like an easy platinum, to be honest. But in all honesty, how many people seriously will be going out to buy this game? I might shamelessly go out and buy it if it is an easy platinum, but other than that, I will not be playing this game. It doesn't really look like the game I would sort of play, but in saying that though, I could see Sony putting this on PS Plus later down the line, as I think that's a game more suited to PS Plus than actually paying proper money for it. So next up then, we had Vader Immortal. Now this is a new Star Wars VR game releasing the 25th of August 2020. I'm not a massive Star Wars fan, but I like the idea and premise of the Star Wars franchise, local people coming together to defeat and fight evil, which is an interesting concept. Yeah, I don't really know where this game takes place in the universe and what movie this is based on. Interested to see more of this actually, even though I don't play VR myself. So next up then we had Control, a second DLC for Control called Awe. Personally, I'm a massive fan of Control and Remedy games. Thoroughly enjoyed the mechanics of floating around and basically just killing enemies with just picking up bits of the world and chucking it back at them. That was a really cool gaming mechanic as well, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the story, but there was just too many boss fights for my liking. Anyway, next up we have Auto Chess. So this looks like a mobile game written all over it, probably have loads of microtransactions, and that's releasing 31st of October 2020. So next up then, this looks a very interesting game. So the men and women's bathroom icons now have their own game. Who would have thought making a 2D platformer about everyone's favourite bathroom icons would be a good idea? Well, this clearly has been approved by quality control at Sony. I know I was poking fun there, but I'm generally all for companies trying new things and new game ideas. I never thought I'd see the bathroom icons of toilet doors and restaurants actually have their own 2D puzzle platformer game. Looks really interesting. I'd be interested to see what the trophy list will be like for this game, and also if this will be an easy platinum. Yeah, I might pick it up if it is an easy platinum. Pedestrian is coming to PS4 in January 2021, which seems a bit late to me, but yeah, whatever, that's when it's releasing. So next up then we have a Robin Hood game releasing in 2021 called Hood, Outlaw and Legends. I'm surprised somebody hasn't thought of this game sooner, but then thinking at it more, probably due to licensing issues, this game is probably set and looks very similar to A Plague Tale Innocence, which is a fantastic game. I highly recommend you play Plague Tale Innocence. I really like the rat in the game, and it really adds to the puzzle sort of element. There's a really good story, so I'm hoping with a similar setting, Robin Hood will be interesting. I'll be interested to see if it'll be a one-to-one story with the film. Yeah, I really am interested to see more on this game. Next up then we got a Pokemon rip-off in the form of Temtem. So it looks like you'll be able to collect creatures and battle with friends online, coming in 2021 again. I'm a fan of Pokemon. I love playing Pokemon on the Game Boy Advance and Colour back in my childhood, but this game doesn't really appeal to me anymore. And finally we got Godfall, releasing holiday 2020, so this looks like it's going to be a launch title for PS5. Personally, I think the graphics looked fine, but nothing really stood out as next gen to me. I don't personally enjoy looter shooter games, or they're calling this a looter slasher game, so the combat has been done hundreds of times before, block and parry mechanic, and we got more detail on that within the state of play, but this game is really missing a really good meaty story. I think I'd be more interested in this game if this game had a fantastic story. Now again, we don't know if this game will come with a story. I'm assuming it will in some form, but having a proper story that we can get our teeth into is really missing from this game. Like for example, having a story of learning about the lore of the world, the characters, etc. Like for example, why we are playing as these characters, how did they get to the world, why are they in this world. The game does have potential, but at this point and what I've seen so far, I'm just not impressed with this game at all, as the whole looter shooter games bleed into the monetization and microtransactions that should not be in single player games. Now personally, I think this was going to have some sort of multiplayer segment attached to this game where they're going to monetize the hell out of it, deliberately making the game grindy so people are then forced into buying time savers with double XP boosts and all that sort of stuff. Personally, I'm not a fan of those games, and quite frankly I'll be avoiding this one. So there you go guys, that has been my opinions of Sony's recent state of play. Personally thought it was pretty disappointing. Apart from the Crash Bandicoot, pretty much it in my opinion. As always, let me know your thoughts below of this recent state of play. Were you a fan, were you not? Are there any games in this state of play that you are intrigued by and that you will be potentially buying or wanting to know more of? As always, that is the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Pedestrian in Scotland, and I'll see you on another video. Thanks very much indeed guys, bye bye.